Hello, welcome to a bonus episode of Hockey Inside Out. This episode, the question comes from one of our viewers, Kathy Belanger. She writes, I get that the defense is young, both in age and experience, but they make mistakes that they shouldn't be after 2 years. Makes her wonder if the coaching staff is up to snuff. So, Andrew, what's your thoughts on the coaching staff when it comes to the defense?
I think there's a lot of things they need to work on. I think the overall defensive structure is not great. I think Marty's not necessarily a tactician at this point in time. Remember, he's a rookie coach too. I mean, not rookie anymore, but a young coach who hasn't coached at this level. So he's still learning things as well. I think there's a lot of improvements that have been made. But yes, the rookies maybe, or not the rookies anymore, but the young defensemen maybe are making more mistakes than usual. But we have to keep in mind that this is a team that for 2 years now has had last year 4 rookies on defense at almost all times, and this year 4 sophomores, sometimes 5 when David Savard was out. This is unprecedented, essentially, in NHL history. Like it just doesn't really happen that you have this much of your defense being players who are just breaking into the league and just finding their feet. And then you have a guy like David Savard, who typically should be a third pairing defenseman at this point in his career and is putting in a heroic effort in first pairing minutes, skating his heart out and blocking shots with his teeth and his hands and his wrists, everything, just to keep this team in the hunt, essentially. And Mike Matheson playing 28 minutes a night sometimes and pulling like 2-minute shifts in overtime to get this team a couple of wins. Everybody's stretched thin, I think. And when you have a collective of this many young players, there's going to be mistakes, and maybe the development will be a little bit slower. But a lot of players in this team are further ahead in their development than where I thought they would be. I think Caden Gooley, his change from last year to this year in terms of on-ice results. Last year, you watch him, and he looks great, but you look at the results, and he was getting killed on the ice. This year, he looks great most games, and the results are actually very strong. So it's stuff like that I look at more than like individual mistakes, because as we've mentioned every week, this is a rebuilding team where mistakes are going to be made and the defensive structure just isn't great.
And I think you have to understand too, team defense is not defense only. And I think it's a group commitment where everybody has to understand what their role is, when to do it, when not to do it. And what we're seeing as of late, we're seeing the defense being exposed a number of times through breakdowns, not only of their own, but communication or miscommunication with the other guys that are on the ice. I won't mention the name forward, but it's a team concept, one that has to be executed. And we took pride when we played Nucks that we had a concept that we knew where we should be, where we shouldn't be, and what your job is supposed to be. And the frustrating part when you are coaching some of these young guys, that you try and deliver the message, and you think the message has been sent, but they continue to do the same things over and over, which is hard to accept. And I just think back of Mike Komisarek when I tried to get him to understand that you shouldn't be running all the way across the ice with your stick up in the air just so you can get the big hit to take yourself out of position. And over you repeat, and it ended up coming back to the same thing. He did the same stuff. But, it's there's a process here in developing these young guys, but it's a team concept that everybody has to, read and feed off of each other and be committed to understand what they should and shouldn't do in order for them to tighten up that part of the game, which is the group game. And it's not happening right now, and the result is scoring chances against, and ultimately too many goals against that are going to cost them down the road and for the future.
Yeah, that lady's on the money. She's on the money, no question. Great question. I think I started off the show talking about this, right? They don't play too well on their own end. I don't go to practices, so I don't know what they do. I know what teams I played on did that were very successful defensively. I know what we did. and to achieve the results we got, and that takes a lot of hard work and practice. It takes a lot of standing around watching other players do it and then doing it yourself and making mistakes and correcting them. Repetition is the key to retention. And I remember times on the ice, we played 3-on-3 down low, and I would have to play as a center iceman and with the two defensemen. Then Bob Gainey would have to do it, and then Cabo would have to do it. It went through every line like that. It was long, it was tedious, but it paid off. Because when I was the first guy back in our end of the rink, I knew what to do instead of panicking and say, where's my centerman? Oh, I need his help. I don't know what to do. I'm down here by myself with the two defensemen. And, you know, we worked on that a lot during the season. They weren't fun practices because there's a lot of physicality involved. There's a lot of having to stand around and listen, but you learn. And I had tremendous help in that area from coaches that I played for, especially the Lemaires, Roger Nielsen, another one, Mike Milbury. Those are things that have to be worked on for guys to understand. I know Marty was an offensive player, obviously. The points he put up in wonderful career, Hall of Fame career. But, boy, that part of the game can't be overlooked when you're coaching it. And I know scoring goals is the object of the game, but you got to keep Marty in net too. And a lot of offense gets generated by playing good defense. So I'll never let go of that line for sure. So, yeah, they have to get better in that area, and they have to learn. And some nights when I watch them, I scratch my head.
Well, let us know if you feel the same way. What do you think about the Habs defense? And if you have a question that you want the panel to answer, please leave it in the comment section below. And make sure to go to hockeyinsideout.com to see our full episode.